3 men were thrown into a furnace, so hot it killed the soldiers who threw them in, and they walked out without even the smell of smoke. Let me tell you why this miracle changed an empire. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you about one of the most dramatic miracles in the Bible. It's the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. This isn't just a story about 3 brave men. It's a story about faith under pressure, standing firm when everyone else bows down. And what happens when you refuse to compromise? Let me take you through what happened and why it still matters today. This story takes place in Babylon, one of the most powerful empires in the ancient world. The Babylonians had conquered Jerusalem and taken thousands of Jews into exile. Among those exiles were 4 young men, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. You probably know them by their Babylonian names: Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These young men were chosen to serve in the king's palace because they were smart, good-looking, and from noble families. They were given Babylonian names, Babylonian education, and Babylonian food. The goal was to assimilate them into Babylonian culture and make them forget their Jewish identity. But these 4 refused to compromise their faith. They excelled in their studies and rose to positions of influence in the kingdom. King Nebuchadnezzar noticed their wisdom and promoted them to high positions. Daniel became a chief advisor. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were appointed as administrators over the province of Babylon. Then King Nebuchadnezzar did something that would test their faith to the breaking point. He made an image of gold, 90 feet high and 9 feet wide. This was a massive statue, probably of himself or of a Babylonian god. He set it up on the plain of Dura and commanded everyone to come to the dedication ceremony. The king's order went out to all the officials, satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials. Everyone who was anyone had to be there. A herald announced, "This is what you are commanded to do, you nations and peoples of every language. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace." This was not a request. This was a command backed by the death penalty. When the music played, everyone bowed. Thousands of people fell to their faces before the golden statue. Everyone except 3 men. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego remained standing. They refused to bow. Some astrologers, probably jealous of the Jews' positions of power, came to the king and accused them. They said, "Your Majesty, you issued a decree that everyone must fall down and worship the golden image when they hear the music. But there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you. They neither serve your gods nor worship the image of gold you have set up." Nebuchadnezzar was furious. He summoned the 3 men and gave them one more chance. He asked, "Is it true that you do not serve my gods or worship the image of gold I have set up? Now when you hear the music, if you are ready to fall down and worship the image I made, very good. But if you do not worship it, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" That last question reveals Nebuchadnezzar's pride. He was challenging not just these 3 men, but their God. What God can rescue you from me? The 3 men didn't hesitate. They gave one of the boldest answers in all of Scripture. They said, "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your Majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your Majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." Let me break down what they just said. First, they refused to defend themselves. They weren't going to argue or make excuses. Their position was clear. Second, they affirmed God's power. Our God is able to deliver us. They had complete confidence in God's ability to save them. Third, and this is crucial, they said, but even if He does not, even if God chooses not to save us, we still won't bow. This is the height of faith. They weren't bargaining with God. They weren't saying, "We'll trust you if you save us." They were saying, "We trust you whether you save us or not. We will obey you even if it costs us our lives." Nebuchadnezzar was so angry that his face became distorted with rage. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. He commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. The 3 men were bound with their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes still on them. They were fully dressed when they were thrown in. The king's command was so urgent and the furnace so hot that the flames killed the soldiers who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Read that again. The furnace was so hot that it killed the soldiers who threw them in. These trained warriors died just from getting close to the opening. The 3 Jewish men fell into the furnace, bound and helpless. It should have been over. They should have been incinerated instantly, but then King Nebuchadnezzar leapt to his feet in amazement. He asked his advisors, "Weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire?" They replied, "Certainly, Your Majesty." He said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. 4 men, not 3, walking around, not burning, unbound, not tied up. And there was a 4th person in the fire with them, someone who looked like a divine being." Many scholars believe this was a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus Christ. God Himself entered the fire with His servants. Nebuchadnezzar approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out. Come here." So they came out of the fire. The satraps, prefects, governors, and royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their heads singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. No burns, no singed hair, no scorched clothes, not even the smell of smoke. They had been in a furnace, so hot it killed trained soldiers, and they walked out completely unharmed. Nebuchadnezzar declared, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent His angel and rescued His servants." They trusted in Him and defied the king's command, and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. The men who refused to bow were elevated. The king who challenged God was humbled, and the God of Israel was praised throughout the empire. So what do we learn from this story? First, there will be times when following God puts you at odds with the culture around you. Everyone else was bowing. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood alone. That takes courage. Second, faith isn't about guaranteed outcomes. These 3 men didn't know if God would save them, but they trusted Him anyway. Even if He doesn't save us, we still won't bow. That's real faith. Third, God is with us in the fire. He didn't keep them out of the furnace. He went into it with them. Sometimes God doesn't remove the trial. He walks through it with us. Fourth, God can be trusted even when the stakes are life and death. These men were willing to die rather than compromise, and God honored their faith. Finally, your faithfulness can impact people who don't even believe yet. Nebuchadnezzar went from challenging God to praising Him. The entire empire heard about what happened. One act of faithful obedience can have ripples you never see. So when the pressure is on to compromise, to bow to something you know is wrong, remember these 3 men. They stood when everyone else bowed. They trusted when the outcome was uncertain, and God showed up in the fire. He'll show up in yours too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.